80% of Gen Z believes in astrology. 72% of Gen Z makes major life decisions based on astrology.
What?
People who come from trauma look for control and safety. And you can find control and safety in stories like the law of attraction, astrology, certain philosophies, certain spiritual teachings. Because these humans want to get rid of the uncertainty what happens at life after death, the uncertainty of having no control about their future, the uncertainty of what decisions should I make. And these humans will tell you these stories, and then you live your life through a filter of stories that separates you from the connection to life, because you live your life conceptually instead of as a part of life.
So how can we raise our consciousness?
Look, human, nature raises consciousness all the time because nature sees where growth and improvement can happen and then aligns and adapts to it.
Yeah, but I'm not a tree that can effortlessly grow.
Funny humans! Always thinking nature's something outside. Human, you are nature.
Wait, you're right. I'm a living being, and like a whale is part of the ocean, I'm part of life.
Yes, ability to connect to nature for human, same as whales.
So why don't we do it as much as whales?
Problem is when humans were small, trained away from nature by other humans with unnatural thought patterns.
So you're saying authorities trained us to trust them and their limiting beliefs instead of trusting ourselves and our intuition?
Yes, humans learning fast.
Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "The day you teach the child the name of the bird, the child will never see that bird again." For millions of years, humans have lived inside stories. And for millions of years, humans have lost their minds, destroyed their lives, and embarrassed themselves because of them. People have killed in the name of religions, burned witches, destroyed families, and today people still believe star signs determine who they should love.
Here's how to use your birth chart in astrology to find out how you're going to meet the people that you both date and marry.
What?
Even trends are stories, not based on your uniqueness. Look at TikTok. It transformed in an entire generation into the same person.
You'll never find another girl like me ever again. There's no one else like me. Oh my God.
When I see people on college campuses wearing the same exact clothes, having the same exact shoes on, groups of people walking 6, 7,
8, 9,
and 4 of them have the same exact outfit on, do they like the outfit, or do they want to follow a story that makes them feel good? This also goes into dating. A lot of people date based on stories that society has about their partner. They don't have a true attraction, they have a conceptual attraction. Here's something to think about. Why does mystery attract women? Because mystery, when a guy doesn't say a lot, when they're acting aloof, they leave openings, and the person can fill in the fantasies, their fantasies in those openings. So women project their fantasies in the openings, the aloofness that the man gives them. A famous kickboxer who has a lot of Bugattis said once, "A man cannot make up as an amazing of a story as a woman can make up in her head."
Do you know why you're always attracted to the mysterious guys who end up breaking your heart? Because they tricked me, of course. No, they're only mysterious because they say less, and you fill in the blanks with your own fantasy because you so desperately want to feel something and be in love. No man can say anything that's as amazing as a woman can do Lulu in her mind.
And then the woman makes these fantasies about the man up in her head, and she falls in love with her own fantasies. And then they are broken when they realize eventually that the fantasy is not matching reality, because they don't like living in reality. That's why they love astrology. because they like the emotional entertainment of these stories. And they grow up with the trends of astrology. A lot of these young women in their communities are almost forced to believe in astrology because all the women around them are talking about it. And for women, it's even harder to be an outsider because from evolutionary psychology, if you were an outsider back in the day as a woman, that was more dangerous than for a man. So they don't want to have conflict. And then they rather go with the stories of astrology and maybe even eventually get into it. But you lose yourself in stories. You lose your uniqueness. You lose your connection to life. So people oftentimes don't actually fall in love with the other person. They fall in love with a fantasy. And then once time passed and reality comes crashing down, they are mad that reality didn't align with their fantasy. Plato described this in a story thousands of years ago. People live in a cave and watch shadows on a wall and believe that's life. And when one person escapes and sees reality for what it really is, the others get angry because the shadows are their identity. Today I will teach you how to actually build trust with yourself. Following these stories actually puts the power in the stories. It doesn't put the power in yourself. So when you disconnect from these stories, you actually come to your true intelligence. And from there, you're gonna have clarity. I speak from experience because for a decade, I believed in the magic of the law of attraction. And in the beginning, it was great. It gave me more of a positive mindset.
So the only important thing is that you focus in a way that makes you feel a little bit better. Then you come on a new radio station, a new frequency. And on that frequency, like on a radio station, you receive different messages. And if you act from those inspirations, you create a new life.
But over time, it turned problematic because I became scared of negative thoughts and I needed to chase rituals and do certain rituals to attract certain things. Then over time, I realized that it was a lot of spending time inside of my head, and that spending time inside of my head fired up an algorithm of the brain. And the brain likes to play this game of guessing if you're doing the right rituals, or guessing if you're having the right thoughts, or seeing, oh, this must be dangerous because you cannot have these certain thoughts. And then it leads to overthinking and overwhelmment and procrastination. And that keeps you from actually living. And what you actually want to do is live. Instead of trusting affirmations, visualizations, or certain spiritual rituals, I started trusting myself. And you will also trust in your own competence because you're gonna show yourself, you're gonna show your little child that you are capable of moving forward without stories. And that gives you the biggest trust in yourself. You have to understand that from a young age, we all have been brainwashed by stories. Because humans sell stories. Humans sell celebrity stories. They sell stories like LeBron James is the chosen one. When I was young, there wasn't TikTok yet, so we could only see what was filtered through the television, and those stories were fabricated to make more money. TikTok nowadays gives us more of a, oh, everybody who has skills can put something on the internet and make videos, which gives us more of confidence that we can do it too. But back in the day, they sold certain things about that person, about the singer, about the athlete, and created a story around that person that made them superhuman, which diminished your own worth because you were like, oh, these people must be special. These people must have a certain aura. All that is complete nonsense. It's a story.
I think there's a lot of youngsters or just individuals who are looking up to their idol, just assuming that they've got everything figured out and they know how everything works. But everyone's winging it.
It is idiots all the way up, dude. Yeah. That's the lesson that I've learned. You know, I've been around some of the richest, most statusful, most followed, famous people on the planet since moving to America, and no one really knows what they're doing. It is idiots all the way to the top.
Nobody knows what they're doing. They just tell you stories to convince you to buy their bullshit. We're all humans. They're all humans. My mom always said they're only also cooking with water. And it's true. They're only cooking with water. But because people put people on the pedestal to sell their stories, they talk in these mystical ways about them to sell people, to sell consumers emotional entertainment. Because consumers are addicted to emotional entertainment. You will see life, the magic of the life, unfiltered without stories. But for that, you have to change your brain's algorithm, because you spend so much time inside of your head on these stories that now your brain gives you automatically these beliefs and stories. But you can retrain that algorithm by showing your brain that you don't care anymore about these stories. And you do that with your focus. So now that I hopefully convinced you that having stories is going to put a separation between you and life, how can we build that connection to life? How can we let go of these stories? How can we become our true self? Well, we have to stop the old algorithm and create a new algorithm, which is more of a non-algorithm, to be honest. But this is how you do it. You stop spending time inside of your head on the old algorithm, and you stop spending time outside of your head on the old algorithm. What do I mean? Inside of your head, you have certain thoughts like, I'm not good enough to make a podcast, or I'm not ready yet to build my business. And if you talk back to that, you feed those stories. But if you do the podcast anyway, while spending time outside of your head, you're ignoring the old algorithm. You're showing your brain that you don't care anymore about that. And that's going to give the brain the signal to leave the old stories behind and support you in living your life. And the more you leave those old stories behind, the less you spend time inside of your head, the less resistance you have, and the more you have the ability to connect to yourself and the outside world. The funny part is people talk about intuition, but I just want to follow my intuition. You cannot follow your intuition if you have so much resistance based on stories and spending time inside of your head constantly based on stories and engagement with thoughts from the past. You have so much resistance that you don't even find your own guidance. You don't have the clarity. You don't have the intuition. You don't have the access because the resistance is so high. But when you lower the resistance by spending time outside of your head and letting go of those stories, you can have more clarity and intuition because the resistance is going away and you open up your channels. Meditation will help you so much because in meditation you sit down, close your eyes, and patterns and stories will come up. Now you have the choice to either react to those stories in the moment or to shift your focus to your breath and your body. And that's a direct reflection to what is happening in life. In life, anxiety comes up, insecurities come up, fears come up, stories about your ex, about who you are, about your identity come up. And you can either talk back to them and engage with them, which feeds those stories and creates more resistance, or you can shift your focus to what you want to grow. But just know that when you start moving forward now with the valued actions, with the things that you want to grow, the brain will try to protect you by giving you more of the old patterns so you don't do it. Because you showed your brain that moving forward and living your life is dangerous because you kept avoiding it and you kept talking back to patterns and fears and trying to fix panic attacks and fix anxiety and fix ADHD. And the brain's like, oh, you love fixing those things? Let me give you more of those things to fix. So you need to stop fixing. And you can only do this, change the algorithm, if you're okay with being uncomfortable. Because the brain will give you those uncomfortable patterns for you to go back. But if you're able to be uncomfortable and move forward, over time the brain learns, it's like, hey, you don't really care about these patterns anymore. I'm a very efficient organ. I'm not going to give them to you anymore. And you change that algorithm. And then, because you moved forward so much, you build trust in your own competence. As Alex Hormozi said, you found confidence in your own proof. You're showing your inner child that you're good enough. Because you take your inner child in those situations. And your inner child gets used to it. To change that algorithm practically, you have to spend time outside of your head. You have to spend more time outside of your head than you spend inside of your head. And you have to start from the beginning of the day. Because when you sleep, momentum stops. And then when you wake up again, you can create a new momentum. Yes, a lot of times automatic thoughts from the past will come up first thing in the morning. But there you can shift your focus. You don't have to talk back. And then you will create a new momentum in the beginning of the day. But if when you get up in the morning and you're in bed and the brain gives you thoughts and emotions about the past or the ex and you keep talking back, the brain's like, oh, you love doing this all day. Let me give you more of that. and it becomes a bigger and bigger and bigger snowball effect. And then it's going to be so much harder in the middle of the day to turn it around. So start spending time outside of your head in the beginning of the day and set proactively beforehand, at least the night before or a week before, what valued actions you're going to do in the morning. Because the old algorithm is created based on reactivity. You being reactive to emotions and thoughts. So the new algorithm can only be created with proactivity while not being reactive to the old emotions and thoughts. So when you set gym in the morning or building your business and old patterns and thoughts come in, you're like, I can have these patterns and I do this anyway while I'm practicing spending time outside of my head. And you have to remember, spending time outside of your head doesn't mean that thoughts are not going to attack you. Because that's where a lot of people go wrong. They're like, oh, I must not do mindfulness right because thoughts are still attacking you. They're supposed to attack you because you kept feeding them over months and years. The algorithm has to run its course. It has to run itself out. The fire where you put wood after wood after wood after wood on the fire over years has to still burn itself out. Your only job is to stop putting wood on the fire. Which means stop talking back to the brain. Stop checking thoughts inside of your head. Stop overthinking feelings. Stop judging feelings. Stop being scared of feelings. Stop thinking about, oh, what if I'm going crazy? What if I'm not doing the right thing? Those are just thoughts. And you shift back proactively to the valued actions. So take out a piece of paper and for this week, insert the most impactful valued actions and set them proactively at a certain time. And when the time comes up, no matter what emotions and thoughts you have, you practice to doing them anyway. That's how you build emotional fitness. That's how you change your algorithm. That's the practical advice I just gave you. And this video will have so much more impact if you actually start doing it. If you want to learn step by step how to let go of the old stories, how to let go of the old algorithm, how to build a new algorithm based on valued actions, you can get my emotional fitness book. So enjoy the book. I'll leave it in the description. And since mindfulness is a big aspect to let go of the stories and change your algorithm, you can check out my YouTube video on how to practice mindfulness right here. I wish you guys a beautiful day, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.